Hello my dear friends, you're on the Military Summary channel, and today we will discuss the situation in Ukraine on the 22nd of June. Today we have more updates and let's discuss them. First of all, let's take a look at the Russian sources map, and according to the Russian sources map, a lot of things happened today in our Gorska-Zolote cauldron. This morning, maybe not morning, but somewhere at noon, we got more updates and confirmation that the Russians took control over Laskutovka and Alexandrovka. Those were two towns the Ukrainians were using for evacuation from Gorska-Zolote cauldron. You remember, like we discussed Novoivanovka and these two forests, and that this is the only one way how the Ukrainians can move from Gorska towards Alexandrovka, then towards Laskutovka, and then towards Lysychansk agglomeration. So I'll repeat myself, somewhere at noontime, the Russians took these towns. So that means that there is a real classic cauldron, totally encircled from every single side. So there is no way to escape or evacuate or quit this area at all. The forces that are there will stay there, or they will retreat, or they will be killed, or they will die. So we can say that the situation in Gorska-Zolote is very critical. But according to information I have, some forces from Gorska-Zolote cauldron managed to escape this area. I'm not sure about the quantity of those soldiers, like few brigades, maybe one brigade, but some forces managed to retreat and to leave this position. Also, at noontime, we got some confirmation that the Russians started their offensive operation from the south of this cauldron, and then they took Katerinovka. So now the Russians are moving town by town, block by block in this area, clearing this area, trying to understand where the Ukrainians are, if they are there, or maybe they have already left or surrendered. So I think that in a day or in two, we're going to see an entire collapse of this cauldron. I don't think that anybody is going to fight there. And I'm not sure about the quantity of 2,500 soldiers. We discussed that there were at least this quantity. As I told you, some quantity left this area, and so we'll follow this situation. But let's discuss this cauldron operation one more time in more details, and the main purpose of this discussion is what did happen. According to the Russian sources, there were at least three versions of situation that happened there. First version was published by the Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation, and two other options were published by two separate military experts in war science, and all these three versions almost similar, very look like each other, but they're totally different. If we're talking about the version of Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation, they said that the brigade number 57 from this area left this position by itself. They took their own decision not to stay in this cauldron anymore, and they decided to leave their position. So we can say that according to the information that Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation provided, there was some kind of mutiny in the army, and they decided not to stay there anymore, and they left their position. So this is the reason why the Russians were so successful so fast, and that this is the reason why they took control over Mirna, Dolina, Podlesny, Laskutivka and Alexandrovka so fast. So that was the version of the Russian Ministry of Defense. Now let's discuss two other options from two separate military experts. One of them said that this brigade number 57 left this position, but not because of any mutiny in this area. They left this position because there is a high risk and very big danger around Bakhmut. And this is the reason why the Ukrainian military authorities decided to move towards Bakhmut more reinforcement. They understand that Gorska-Zolote cauldron is already done, and there is no reason to keep this area anymore. So that's why they moved brigade number 57, and moved their brigade towards Bakhmut to enforce position near this town, because we know that Wagner group is in 5 kilometers from this town. So maybe even next week, or maybe by the end of this week, we're gonna see the first battles around this town. We discussed that to take Bakhmut is much more easier even than to take Lysychansk agglomeration, and that the Russians are moving towards this town. We know that there was some confirmation that the Russians, the Wagners, took control over Klinovo, and that they reached Zaitsevo. For now, the map is not updated because, as I see, the West sources map and the Russian source map are waiting for some confirmation, video confirmation, or something more than just like words from some soldiers and so on. This is the second version from the military expert, and the third one also connected with mutiny in the army. So let's discuss this one more time. Because to tell the truth, I believe in this version because there were more video confirmation of exactly this version. First of all, a few days ago, some Ukrainian forces published their video. You know that the Ukrainians, they like to record some videos about the bad situation in their brigade, in their group, and they're asking for help. They're asking their military authorities for help to give them some reinforcement, supply, weapon, support, and so on. But the video you can find. By the way, you can find this video in open source. I tried to find this video today, but there was a lot of information. I just missed that video, and only today I understand that that was one of the most important video. So those soldiers, there was like 4 soldiers in the record. It's like commanders. They also read some information, some list that there is a lot of problem, no support, no supply, we are in very big danger. And the thing that they told, that they refused to go to Gorska-Zolote area. You know that according to the Russian sources, those days, it was a period of rotation. It was a period of rotation when the forces from Gorska-Zolote were moved from this area, and new fresh forces were planned to move back to this area. And those soldiers that we saw video and can find internet refused to go there. So and there was around 800 soldiers. I don't know about their destiny and what is going on with them. I just know that they refused to go and they didn't go there according to the normal regular rotation. And this is the reason. And by the way, those forces, they were like experienced one. There was experience, there was in Gorska-Zolote before. Because of rotation, they were moved back for some rest, and after that they were planned to move back to Gorska-Zolote, and they refused. So this, we can say that there was some kind of mutiny in this particular group. This is the reason why the Ukrainian military authorities were forced to move towards Podlysny, Mirandolina, Laskutovka, Alexandrovka, not experienced forces. According to the Russian sources, when they took control, when they took these towns, there was a lot of video, and they show a lot of unexperienced Ukrainian soldiers. According to those videos, those soldiers were mobilized just in May, so less than a month ago. So today is like these towns were taken like yesterday and the day before yesterday. And we can say that those soldiers who were in these towns, Laskutovka, Alexandrovka, Podlysny, Mirandolina, were mobilized just a month ago. They didn't take part in any battle before, and they were moved towards the hell. And according to the Russian sources, they're saying that when they start shelling this area, all these mobilized forces, mobilized soldiers, the only thing they could do is to hide. And they hide in the basements of these small towns. So the Russians just entered this town without even a shot. Of course, there were some battles, of course, but it was very easy. So there was 3 versions. I'll repeat like one more time. One version from Ministry of Defense that Brigade number 57 decided to leave this area by themselves, like some kind of mutiny in their group. Another version that there is no reason to hold this area anymore, and Ukrainian military authorities ordered to move these forces towards Bakhmut to enforce Bakhmut. And the third one, that because of rotation, there was a need to move some forces from Girsk and to move their fresh forces. And those fresh forces refused to do this because they understood well that it's like suicide operation to go there. We can understand any of these versions, and I see that all of them has some point. But as a result of this situation, the Russians, of course, took all these towns, and as a result, we can see this picture. So this is the picture of the current situation. So Laskutovka and Alexandrovka is under the Russians. Also, they started their movement from the south, and they took control over Ekaterinovka. So let's update this map with the colors and try to understand what is the Russians' next steps. So this is the current situation. And by the way, while I was recording this video, we got some updated confirmation that the Russians entered Vovchoyarivka. I just wanted to discuss the further steps, and the Russians has already done this step. They started their offensive operations towards Vovchoyarivka. They continued their breakthrough operation, and as I see, there is no force, no power from the Ukrainian side to stop the Russians. Something tells me that the only one way to stop the Russians is when their fuel in their machines ends. That's it. Now I think that they're just moving forward, and nobody can stop them. It's a very critical situation. If the Russians entered Vovchoyarivka, we can say about the encirclement of Lysychansk agglomeration and of establishing another cauldron in this area. So let's discuss. Let's first take a look at the Russian sources map. You see that they started their shelling. This morning they started shelling over Vovchoyarivka. It was some kind of artillery preparation. And right a few minutes ago, we got some updates that Russian troops entered Vovchoyarivka. The breakthrough of the upper is getting deeper. So it's very critical situation. And now we see that the Russians is in Vovchoyarivka. And I see that there is no any force, any power from the Ukrainians who can stop them. Of course, we can say that the Ukrainians have some position, very fortified position near this Lysychansk oil refinery. And of course, we see that maybe there was some position of Vovchoyarivka, but I see that these forces were destroyed very easily, like in a day. And I don't understand what is going on there. Believe me, I don't understand what is going on there, because I suppose that the Ukrainians are able to hold the line between Lysychansk, Vovchoyarivka, Matrosk, Bela Gora at least like a week or maybe a few days, but now I see that they can't do even this. Of course, the battle for Vovchoyarivka won't be very easy, and taking the suburbs of this town mean nothing. But maybe by the end of this day, the entire town is going to fall. But for now, I can say that it's nothing, and mainly because of the fact that if we take Vovchoyarivka, this town is located in the lowland, and the most important part is this one, like these landfills and these positions on the hill, and also this oil refinery that also is on the hill. So that means that to protect Vovchoyarivka from oil refinery and from other towns is not so difficult. Just to shell this area. Maybe this is the reason why the Ukrainians decided to leave this area, because of reducing their losses. So they retreat. And now we can say that the Russians are fighting for Vovchoyarivka. And of course, their main idea in this area, there is only one goal in this area, or maybe two goals. First one is the road between Lysychansk and oil refinery, and the second one is the road between oil refinery and Siversk. This is two important roads, and the Russians need somehow to cut these roads, or physically or by establishing the fire control. And if the Russians are able to take Vovchoyarivka with the hills near this town, we can calculate the distance, and the distance is around 6 kilometers. If we take a look at this map, we see that this is our oil refinery, this is Vovchoyarivka, this is oil refinery, this is Vovchoyarivka, and You see, this is the road of life we were talking about. This is one of the most important area, and this is like artery of life, Ukrainian artery of life. And if the Russians can establish some positions over this hill, over this small area, on this map, if we take this map, this is it. Like it's like the north part of Vovchoyarivka. So from this side, we can say that they can destroy anything that uses this road from Lysychansk agglomeration towards Lysychansk oil refinery. And we can say that this situation is the same as we might see the situation in Toshkovka, when as soon as the Russians took Chekhirovo, they established control over the road, and after that, entire front line collapsed. So the same situation is here. If the Russians take these small like mines, these small landfills, these small farms in this area, then they will be able to control everything. And we can say about tactical encirclement of Lysychansk agglomeration. And those 15,000 soldiers that located there is in very big trouble. Another story, let's discuss the Russian tactic of a small push. We understand that there are a lot of soldiers, they are very depressed. They know that some forces, according to one of the versions we discussed just before, some forces refuse to go to this area. Believe me, imagine yourself the logic and the what is happening in the heads of these soldiers. Like yesterday, everything was very simple. You receive an order. You're going to the front line. If you're lucky, you will survive. If you're not lucky, you will die there. And it was repeat every day, day by day, day by day. But now there is 800 soldiers who refuse to go. So imagine yourself what happened in their minds. And their normal question is, could you tell me that it's possible to do this? So we can do this? So we can just refuse to go and we won't need to die? It's their question that is there in their mind. And now we understand that this small push towards Vovchoyarivka can collapse the entire front line in Lysychansk. This picture of Vovchoyarivka is very dangerous. Because to tell the truth, before this video, I thought that the Russians will fight around Vovchoyarivka, but not so fast. I thought that they were trying to push this area. Maybe they need some regroup because of heavy clashes around Mirnodolina and Vrubovka and so on. They need some time to regroup, to fill their forces. And I thought that the first thing they're gonna do, like by the end of this week, they will try to establish control over Nikolaevka, just to clear their front line, to make their front line more straight. It's like to save their flanks, to protect their flanks from Nikolaevka. And after that, I suppose that the Russians, because of the fact that I thought that there would be a very great defense line from Lysychansk oil refinery towards Bila Gora, like this area is like totally fortified, I suppose that the Russians will try to move towards Verkhnekamensk. For example, like moving from Nikolaevka towards Spirny, Ivana, Darnovka, Verkhnekamensk, like to trying to encircle this area from the south. It doesn't matter how to encircle. Maybe they would try to cross the river one more time towards Bilogorovka or towards Serebryanka, and from this area trying to attack Verkhnekamensk. So something like this. I suppose that the battles for Lysychansk would be much more difficult than we can see right now. We see that everything develops very fast and not in favor of the Ukrainians. They're losing town by town. The only forces that can still hold some area is in Severodonetsk on the Azot plant, but they're encircled, and believe me, they are the most powerful and experienced soldiers. There are foreigners, there are some special groups, and they're encircled and they can't leave this area. The same situation in Borivska, they can't leave this area because of operational encirclement. They can't use the river anymore. They can go like from this area towards Lysychansk, but everything is very complicated and different. And to do any retreat, you need to keep some rear guard forces, and I'm not sure that at least the forces on this side of Seversk Donetsk River has any rear guards. And who wants to be rear guards? Because rear guards means like death, like dead soldiers. Who is rear guard? They are or captured or dead. There is no other options for them, so nobody wants to die. I'm sure about this. So the situation in Lysychansk are very critical, and if the information about Vovchoyarivka is correct, then that means that maybe even by the end of this week or by the end of next week, this entire area will collapse and fall. So let's wait a little bit. Let's wait a little bit, and if Vovchoyarivka was taken, or at least a half or some part, we're gonna know this and understand this by this evening, and by the next morning we will know for 100% about this territory. Of course, I suppose and I hope that at least the Ukrainians are able to give some battle around Lysychansk oil refinery, if they are able. There is no updates from Bakhmut, just the situation we discussed yesterday, that the Russians were pushing towards Zaitsev, Vershina, Klinovo, and that soon we can see some battles around Bakhmut. There is no update from the Slaviansk bridgehead. They're not moving. There are still clashes around Dolina, Krasnopolye, Bogorodichne, but it's not because of the Russians are not pushing. I think that everybody is concentrated on this area, and maybe they think, the Russians, that if Lysychansk falls, maybe there is no need to fight for Slaviansk and Kramatorsk, because we understand that the forces from Lysychansk have just one option: to run away from this area or being encircled. And if they start their retreat operation, like start running from Lysychansk, I don't think that they will stop somewhere in Bakhmut or Siversk. I think that these forces will run till Slaviansk and Kramatorsk. And if they run, that means that the forces that located on the line from Siversk to Bakhmut will do the same. So why they should stay here if these forces are running? So it may turn this situation, and may turn into a very big collapse of entire Ukrainian army on this front line. So we'll see, we'll follow this situation. And that's it for today. I would like to remind you that military summary condemn any violence in Ukraine. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, and enjoy your day. Bye bye.